Hello everyone. So our today's topic of discussion is the basics of probability. So we are done with the basics of permutation and combination, which is an important thing before we understand probability. So what we'll be doing in this topic is that we'll be understanding the basics of the probability. We'll understand what is a probability, then two basic types of probability, and then we're going to take up some cases based upon which we'll be trying to solve the other questions. Okay. Now, when you talk about GRE and GMAT, the probability course is pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. You just need to know the basics probability, the basic of probability. Like we don't have any conditional probability, we don't have any Bayes theorem, we don't have all those things. We have the simple probability. Okay. So we'll basically be concerned with just one formula, that is probability of any event is equal to number of favorable outcomes divided by total number of outcomes. And we'll have to simply use that in the questions. Nothing else is required. Alright. So let's start with the basics. So the very first thing is, what exactly is probability? Like how do we define probability? So in simple terms, probability is defined as the branch of mathematics that deals with occurrence of a random event. It's a branch of mathematics that deals with the occurrence of a random event. For example, let's suppose if you toss a coin, and when you toss a coin, there are like two possibilities. One is head, one is tail. So what is the theoretical probability of getting a head? The theoretical probability of getting a head is 1 by 2. Why? Because there is one favorable outcome, that you want head on the top face, and there are basically two possible outcomes, that is head and tail on the top face. So your theoretical probability simply becomes 1 by 2. So it's simply a branch of mathematics that deals with occurrence of random events. You can also roll a dice, and then the question can be what will be the probability if a multiple of 2 appears on the top face. Then our favorable outcomes are like 3, that is 2, 4 and 6, and total number of outcomes are obviously 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the theoretical probability of this question becomes half. Okay. Alright. Now when you talk about probability, there are basically three types of probability as we defined it. So the first one is known as theoretical, second one is known as experimental, and the third one is known as axiomatic. However, we'll understand the first two just for the sake of understanding it. This has no relation with your exam. Okay, they will not ask you all these questions, but just so that you understand the basics, just so that you know a little bit things about the topic. So let's understand. So first one is theoretical probability. So theoretical probability is basically based on reasoning behind the probability. It is based on reasoning. Like for example, if you have a coin, if you have an unbiased coin, and if you're gonna flip it, and if I ask you like what will be the probability that head will appear on the top face, so you will say probability will be half. Why would it be half? Because you're considering that if it's an unbiased coin, then there is a 50% chance that head can come on the top face, and there is a 50% chance that tail will come on the top face. Similarly, let's suppose if you have a dice, and if I ask you when you're going to roll it, what will be the probability that an odd number will appear on the top face? So you will again say it's 1 by 2. Why? Because there are like 3 odd numbers, 1, 3 and 5, and there are like 6 numbers in total. So 3 divided by 6, that's 1 by 2. But these are like theoretical probabilities. These are like based on reasoning. In both the cases, in the case 1, we consider that there is a theoretical possibility that 50% of the cases are going to have head on the top face, and for the 50% of cases we're going to have tails on the top face. Same thing goes with the dice one also. We're going to have 1/6 chance of having each number on the top face. So therefore my answer was 1 by 6 plus 1 by 6 plus 1 by 6, which is 1 by 2, or in short it's going to be 3 by 6. So when you talk about theoretical probability, it's simply based on reasoning. It is simply based on reasoning. We don't conduct any experiment, and the reasoning is of course based on our logic and our understanding of the question. Second is our experimental probability. So experimental probability is the one which is based on experiment, Like, let me make you understand the difference between the two. Okay, so let's take a case of dice which basically has 6 faces: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Okay, if I ask you like what is the theoretical probability of getting, let's suppose, 2 on the top face, the number 2 on the top face, so you will say, okay, like I have one favorable outcome, that is 2, the number 2, and I basically have 6 outcomes, 6 total number of outcomes, so my probability will simply become 1 divided by 6, because there is only one favorable outcomes and I have a total of 6 possible outcomes, so my theoretical probability of getting 2 on the top face will become 1 by 6. Now what do? You conduct an experiment. And you roll this dice, let's suppose 36 times. You roll this dice 36 times. Now when you're gonna roll this dice 36 times, what happens is you got number 2 like only 4 times on the top face. You got the number 2 like 4 times on the top face. So in that case, what's gonna happen? Your experimental probability will become 4 divided by 36, which is equal to 1 by 9. So you can see that these two are different things. The experimental one is based on the experiment that you are conducting. Theoretical one is basically based on the reasoning. So when you talk about theoretical one, we were assuming the fact that all numbers are like equally likely to appear on the top face of the dice. This is basically what the difference is between theoretical probability and experimental probability. Okay. So this was just to give you a brief or just about what exactly probability is. So what you need to know is, it's basically it's simply a science, or the part of maths which deals with occurrence of a random event. That's it. You don't need to know anything else. Okay, and there is one simple formula which you need to be aware of. So there is one simple formula, that is probability of any event E is equal to favorable outcomes divided by total outcomes. This is the only formula that you have to deal with. Alright, we don't have any conditional probability, as I've already told you. We don't have any Bayes theorem, nothing dependent on each other. It's a very simple topic, and it's like one of the easiest topics for GRE and GMAT. Okay. Also remember that whenever you talk about probability of any event E always lie between 0 and 1. Probability of any event E always lie between 0 and 1. If you get a probability of 0, then this basically becomes impossible event, and if you get a probability of 1, then this becomes sure event. Impossible event is like something that will never happen. So for example, if you're rolling 2 dice simultaneously, so if I ask you like what is the probability that sum of the numbers appearing on the top face will be equal to 1, sum of the numbers on the top face of 2 dice is equal to 1, so you will say that the probability is 0, because that's never going to happen. The minimum sum that you can have is 1 plus 1, which is 2. You can never have a sum of 1. Okay. And when you talk about like sure event is something that will always happen. For example, like let's suppose if you are flipping a coin, then you're gonna either have tails or you're gonna have heads. So if I ask you like what is the probability of head or tails appearing on the top face, so you'll say it's 1, because either you're gonna have heads or you're gonna have tails. These are the only two options. So that's a sure event, something that will definitely happen. Impossible event is something that will never happen. Okay. All right. Now what we are gonna do is we're gonna try and understand three different cases. The first one is flipping of a coin, second one is rolling of a dice, and third one is shuffling of playing cards. Okay. And once we understand these three cases, because in these three cases we'll be making use of bit of permutation and combination also, we'll also be using our basic logic. We're gonna try and understand how to solve different types of questions. Okay. Now the questions on probability are not directly based on probability. They are a mix of like couple of concepts. For example, probability plus Venn diagrams, the matrix method, probability plus geometry, probability plus PNC, and so on and so forth. Okay, but the concept is one simple thing, that is probability of any event is favorable outcomes divided by total number of outcomes. We just need to focus on two things: how to calculate the favorable outcomes and how to calculate the total number of outcomes. That's it, nothing else is required. Okay, so let's start with the first thing, that is flipping of a coin. So we're gonna start with an unbiased coin. All right, so if I have a single coin, and we'll be basically talking about the theoretical probabilities. Okay, we'll basically be focusing on theoretical probabilities. Anyways, so if I have an unbiased coin, now unbiased basically means that probability of all the events occurring is equal. Probability of all the events occurring is equal. If I have a single coin and if I'm gonna flip it, then the question is like, what is the probability that head will appear on the top face? What is the probability that head will appear on the top face? So if you're flipping a single coin, then there are like two possible outcomes. Either you can have head on the top face or you can have tail on the top face. Either you can have head on the top face or you can have tail on the top face. There is nothing else that can happen. So these are the only two events. These are the only two events and these are the only two outcomes. Now if you want head on the top face, so that's one favorable outcome divided by 2, which is like total number of outcomes. The probability that you will have head on the top face will be equal to 1 by 2. Probability that you will have head on the top face will be equal to 1 by 2. Similarly, let's flip two coins. If you're gonna flip two coins, then you're gonna have like four possibilities. You can have both heads. You can have head on the top face, tail on the second, head on the first coin, tail on the second coin. You can have tail on the first coin, head on the second coin, and you can have tail on both the coins. HH, HT, TH, and TT. Now remember that these two cases are to be counted separately, okay? The order matters. The order matters, and this is PNC. I hope you remember the order matters, okay? Now, just one more thing. If you want to understand probability, in-depth understanding, if you want that in-depth understanding, then you need to have a good command on PNC, okay? So if you have not watched my basics of PNC videos, then after this please do watch the basic of PNC video. It's gonna help you a lot. Okay, you'll understand, like in the next couple of minutes you'll understand why I was asking regarding PNC. Okay, anyways, coming back to this, so you'll be considering HT and TH as separate cases. You'll be considering them as separate cases. Okay, HT means H on the first coin, tail on the second coin. TH means T on the first coin and H on the second coin. This is basically what it means. Anyways, so I have two coins. These are my four possible outcomes. Let's suppose if I ask you, like, if you're like tossing two unbiased coins simultaneously, then what is the probability of getting at least one head on the top face? What is the probability of getting at least one head on the top face? Now at least one head basically means one or more than one. At least one head basically means one or more than one. Okay, so I know that my total number of outcomes are 4. I just need to calculate the favorable number of outcomes. So I want at least one head. So 1, 2, and 3. So my answer becomes 3 by 4. My answer becomes 3 by 4. Similarly, I could have also given you like 3 coins. So for 3 coins, you're gonna have like HHH, HHT, HTH, HTT, TTT, TTH, THT, and THH. You're gonna have like 8 possible outcomes. You're gonna have 8 possible outcomes. So let's suppose if you're flipping 3 coins simultaneously, then what is the probability of getting exactly 2 heads on the top face? Exactly 2 heads on the top face. So let's count. I have total probability, like total number of cases, total outcomes as 8. I need exactly 2 hits, so 1, 2, and 3. So my probability becomes 3 by 8. Because similarly, other questions can also be asked. Now, when you talk about these 3 cases, more or less each one of us knows to form the cases, the total number of outcomes for a single coin, 2 coins, and 3 coins. This is not something new that I'm teaching you. You guys, most of you would be already knowing this. And you would also be remembering all these cases because this is something that we have already done in our school time. Okay. Now let's take a step further than this. Let's move on. And let's say, now I say, I have 44 coins. I have 44 coins. And what is the probability of getting exactly 12 tails on the top face? I'm flipping 44 coins simultaneously. All the coins are unbiased coins. Okay, as of now we are simply talking about the unbiased coin, nothing else. I have 44 coins. What is the probability of getting exactly 12 tails on the top face? Now the question is, how would you solve this question? The real question is, how would you solve this? Now you can't make cases for 44 coins. That's not feasible. It's not possible. So in cases like these, we need to have a good hold of PNC. Okay, so let's try and analyze this. I have 44 coins and I need exactly 12 tails. So if I need exactly 12 tails, one way of understanding this is, what I'm basically looking for is, I'm looking for tail, tail, tail 12 times, and I have head, head, head. I'm gonna have head 32 times. This is basically what I'm looking for, right? If I'm flipping like 44 coins and if I want exactly 12 tails, then it's obvious that I'm gonna have 32 heads. I'm gonna have 32 heads. So isn't it like arranging 44 things on a straight line of which 12 are same and 32 are same? Because I said that I want exactly 12 tails. I never said that I want 12 tails on the first 12 coins, right? I want tail on the first 12 coins and the rest remaining 32 can be hits. No, I said that I want tails. I want exactly 12 tails. I said that I want exactly 12 tails. So isn't it like that you're like arranging 44 things on a straight line of which 12 are same and 32 are same? So the number of possible ways in which you can arrange 44 things on a straight line of which 12 are same and 32 are same will basically be 44 factorial divided by 12 factorial into 32 factorial. This just gives us the number of ways in which you can arrange them. We are not done with probability. We are not done with probability. Now again, we'll simply be using our logic. Now understand it this way. Irrespective of the fact that I'm gonna have head or tail on the top face of a coin, irrespective of the fact that I'm gonna have head or tail on the top face of a coin, can I say probability will be half? If I look at a coin individually, whether I'm gonna have head or I'm gonna have tail, the probability will be 1 by 2. The probability will be 1 by 2. So for the first coin, it will be 1 by 2. For second one, it's gonna be 1 by 2. Third one, it's gonna be 1 by 2. For fourth one, it's gonna be 1 by 2. Until 44th coin, it's going to be 1 by 2. Because whether you have head or whether you have tail, how does that matter? All coins are unbiased coins. All coins are unbiased coins. Right? So You want probability of first and second and third and fourth and fifth. I hope you can sense my tone. The word and, something we did in PNC. Whenever you use the term and, it stands for multiplication. So you're going to multiply half 44 number of times. You're going to multiply half 44 number of times. So this will simply become half to the power 44. And this here is your total probability. You're going to multiply half 44 number of times. So it will become half to the power 44. Alright. So let's take up one more case. Now using this, the methodology that we have just discussed, we could have solved any question. For example, let's try and solve this question with the one with the 3 coins, in which I required exactly 2 hits. So I had 3 coins and I want exactly 2 hits. Okay, let me write down that my answer came out to be 3 by 8. Okay, so I have 3 coins and I want exactly 2 hits. So isn't it like HHT? Exactly 2 hit means third one has to be tail. Now first of all, you're going to calculate how many possible cases are there, because I never said that I want hit on the first 2 and tail on the third one. I said I want exactly 2 hits. So total number of cases will simply become 3 factorial, because I have 3 things which are to be arranged on a straight line, of which 2 are same, so divide by 2 factorial. So it will be 3 factorial divided by 2 factorial, which is equal to 3. Now whether you have head on the top face or you have tail on the top face, what will be the probability? What will be the probability? The probability will be half. Okay, so for first coin, the probability is half. For second coin, it's half. For third coin, it's again half. So again, it's half into half into half. So that is half cube, which will again give you the result as 3 by 8. Exactly the same. There is no difference. Okay. Now this question, this question can also be solved in another way. Like if you want to use the formula for PNC, like this method that I've used, this is basically the counting technique. If you want to use PNC, you can also think this question in this way, that you have 44 things and you want to choose 12. You have 44 things, like I'm talking about the one with 44 coins, okay, in which I want exactly 12 tails. So I have 44 things and I'm choosing 12 things. So I have like 44 coins and I'm choosing 12 of them to have tails. So you can simply say it this way, that the total number of cases in which you can choose 12 things out of 44 things will become 44 C12. And think about this logically. If you're gonna if out of 44 things you're gonna choose 12 of them to be tail, isn't it obvious that the remaining 32 will automatically become head? If you have 44 coins and if you are choosing 12 of them to have tails on the top face, isn't it obvious, isn't it axiomatic that the remaining 32 are gonna have heads on the top face? It's obvious, right? That's why you said that 12 needs to have tail. That means that 32 will have heads. Okay, it goes without saying. So this is going to give you the total number of cases in which you're going to have 12 tails and 32 heads on the top face. Now again, whether you're going to have head or whether you're going to have tail, the probability is half for individual coin. Now we don't have conditional probability, so probability of any coin is not dependent on the probability of the another coin. So you have 44 coins, probability for the first one, whether head or tail doesn't matter, it's going to be half. For second coin, whether head or tail, it's going to be half. So half will be multiplied 44 number of times, so that will simply become half to the power 44. You can also write your answer as this. So whichever way you're comfortable, you want to do it with the help of combination, you want to do it with the help of counting technique, please go ahead. It's completely your call. No stopping on that part. Okay. All right. So I'm going to give you a question. Think about it and let me know the answer of that question in the comment box. Okay. So I have 57 unbiased coins. Find the probability of getting at least 3 tails on the top face. Find the probability of getting at least 3 tails on the top face. Think about this question, then let me know the answer. Okay. Alright, now before we move on to the bias coin concept, I'm gonna give you one relationship which is like quite obvious, but we generally don't think of this concept while we are solving the question. Okay. So I'm gonna put this in a very simple terms. So probability of something happening, probability of something happening is basically equal to 1 minus probability of something not happening. Probability of something happening is equal to 1 minus probability of something not happening. Okay. So we will be using this concept. You'll understand how to use this, where to use this, and when to use this. It's a very important relationship which you need to know. Okay. Anyways, let's move on to the bias coin. So when you move to the bias coin, what happens? What changes? Let's try and understand. Now the difference between bias and unbiased coin, if we talk about the mathematical terms, see, when you talk about whether you talk about bias coin or an unbiased coin, each of them have only two outcomes, whether head or tail. There is nothing else that can happen, which basically mean that probability of head plus probability of tail for any coin whether biased or unbiased will basically be equal to 1, because these are the only two possible outcomes. There's nothing else that can happen. So for every coin having head and tail, probability of head plus probability of tail on the top face will always be equal to 1. Now what matters, what changes when you come from an unbiased to a biased coin? When you talk about an unbiased coin, so I'm going to write UB for that. When you talk about an unbiased coin, then probability of head becomes equal to probability of tail. Probability of head becomes equal to probability of tail. Hence, you can say that for an unbiased coin, probability of head and probability of tail on top face is equal to 1 by 2. Hence, you say that probability of head or probability of tail on the top face is equal to 1 by 2. But when you talk about an bias coin, I'm going to write B for that. When you talk about a bias coin, then probability of head is not equal to probability of tail. And of course it won't be, because if the two probabilities become equal, then how come the coin be biased? Bias basically means that inclination towards one of the outcomes. Inclination towards one of the outcomes. So for example, if I say that, let's suppose there's an equation given to us that for a bias coin, probability that head appears on the top face is twice the probability that tail will appear on the top face. Probability that head will appear on the top face is twice the probability that tail will appear on the top face. Okay, now how would you solve this? First of all, how would we solve this equation? How would we calculate probability of head and tail individually? This is the first thing we need to understand. Then we'll move on to the question. So what we will be doing in this case is, we will consider the probability of tail on the top face to be x. Let's consider it to be x. So using that, I can say that probability of head will simply become twice of x. And I know that probability of head plus tail is 1. There is no third possibility. These are the only two possibilities, which means I can say that twice of x plus x is equal to 1, which will give me x is equal to 1 by 3. Which means probability of tail will become 1 by 3 and probability of head will basically become 2 by 3. Now once you know this, then you can solve any question that you wish to solve. So this is the change. These are the two differences for an unbiased coin and for a biased coin. Okay. All right. So let's take up an example for this case also. Let's see what kind of a question can we expect. So I'm gonna take I'm not gonna take an easy question, let me put it this way. I'm gonna take a medium or a difficult level of question, because easy questions you guys can do. There is nothing new about that. So let's take up a good question so that you understand the basics also. So I have like 37 unbiased, sorry, not unbiased, I have 37 biased coins. And for each of them, probability that tail will appear on the top face is 4 times the probability that head will appear on the top face. For each of them, probability that tail will appear on the top face is 4 times the probability that head will appear on the top face. Question is, find the probability of getting exactly 12 heads on the top faces. Find the probability of getting exactly 12 heads on the top face. So pause the video and try this question. You know the basic. You know how to solve. You have also understood how to make use of PNC. Pause the video and try this question yourself first. Alright, let's give this one a try. So first I'm going to solve this. Probability of tail appearing on the top face is 4 times the probability that head will appear on the top face. Okay, this is the first thing that I'll be solving. So I'm going to take this pH to be x. So this pt will automatically become 4 times x. I'm going to take pH to be x, so pt will automatically become 4 times x. So I can say that x plus 4 times x will be equal to 1, which will give me 5x is equal to 1, or which will give me x is equal to 1 by 5. Which means probability of head appearing on the top face is equal to 1 by 5, and probability that tail will appear on the top face will be equal to 4 by 5. Simply using the relationship, nothing new. Now I want exactly 12 hits. So do it the combination way or do it the counting method way. I prefer the counting method. I like it that way because I can visualize. So if I want like 12 hits, so I'm gonna have head. I'm gonna have head 12 number of times, which will automatically give me tails 25 number of times. Which will automatically give me tail 25 number of times. So I have to arrange 37 things in a straight line. So that's 37 factorial, of which 12 are same and 25 are same. So 12 factorial into 25 factorial. But this is just gonna give me the number of ways in which I can have like 12 heads and 25 tails in a straight line. This will not give me the probability. Now I want the probability. Now think about it in this way. If I talk about a head, now all coins are individual, right? They are not dependent on each other. So if I talk about head, let's first talk about the heads. Let's first talk about the 12 heads. 2, I'm gonna make 3 only. So for the first head, can I say probability for this head will be 1 by 5? Because for this coin also, probability that tail will appear on the top face is 4 times the probability that head will appear on the top face. So for the first head, you're gonna have probability of 1 by 5. Same thing goes for second head. Same thing will go for the third head. And can I say the same thing will go for all the 12 heads or no? Now whether you have head on the first coin, second coin, third coin, 23rd coin, 24th coin, 36th coin, 37th coin, we have to look at them individually, right? We have to look at them individually because their probabilities are not dependent on the other coins. We are supposed to look at them individually because probability of individual coin is not dependent on the other coin. So which basically means that for one head it's 1 by 5, for second head it's 1 by 5, for third head it's 1 by 5, for all the 12 heads it's simply 1 by 5. So can I say for these 12 heads, I can say I'll have to multiply 1 by 5 12 times, so which will give me 1 by 5 to the power 12 or no? Which will give me 1 by 5 to the power 12, yes or no? Now let's come to tails. Now I'm gonna have like tail 25 number of times. So I'm gonna write this tail up here, tail, 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 and so on 25 number of times. Now for individual tail, the probability is 4 by 5. So for first tail it's 4 by 5, for second tail it's 4 by 5, for third tail it's 4 by 5, and so on and so forth. So can I say that for 25 tails, the probability will basically become 4 by 5 to the power 25, yes or no? It will become 4 by 5 to the power 25 because you're going to multiply 4 by 5 25 number of times, the same logic. So in this case, your probability will become this, the total number of cases multiplied by 1 by 5 to the power 12 into 4 by 5 to the power 25. That's going to give you the total number of let's write the total number of arrangements possible. Total number of arrangements possible. This here is giving me the probability of 12 heads, and this is going to give me the probability of 25 tails, and that will be the answer. So apart from this one thing, that probability of tail is equal to 4 times the probability of head, rest everything is as it is. Nothing has changed. The rest everything is as it is. Okay, so this was the basics of coins. Now just remember one thing. The total number of cases for coins is always equal to 2 to the power n, where n represents number of coins. You can look at this logically. So let me first remove some things from the board. Why is it 2 to the power n? Let's understand. So whatever n number of coins I'm gonna have, so first coin, second coin, third coin, fourth coin, fifth coin, up to like n number of coins. Let's look at them individually. Let's look at every coin individually. Now can I say that for one coin, I'm gonna have only two possible cases. Either head or tail. There's nothing else that can happen. So I'm gonna have two cases for the first, two cases for the second, two cases for the third, two cases for the fourth, two cases for the fifth, and two cases for the nth coin also. Because there is nothing else that can happen. Either it can be head or it can be tail. There is no third thing that can happen. Okay. Now you want to calculate total number of cases. That means cases on the first coin and second and third and fourth and fifth and up to nth coin. So you'll have to multiply them. So basically you are multiplying 2 n number of times. So this will become 2 to the power n. That will be the total number of cases. Alright. So this was the basics of coins, and I hope you have like understood also like how to solve questions, the basic questions on probability. No doubt we are supposed to take like two more cases. One is on dice, the other is on playing card, but I believe that for that I have to make a separate video, because otherwise it's going to be like too long. All right, so let's keep it till here, guys, for this one. And if you like the video, please do share it. Please do subscribe to the channel also for more exam and video related content on GMAT, GRE and SAT. And if you're looking for individual classes or private classes for GMAT, GRE and SAT, you know how to contact me. You can either WhatsApp me or you can mail me. Alright guys, so we'll keep it till here, and we'll be having one more video on the probability basics, in which we'll be understanding the cases of a dice and playing cards. Once done with that, then we'll have to solve like different types of questions on probability. Alright. So thank you so much guys for watching the video. Please do like the video and please do also subscribe to the channel, and keep watching and keep learning guys. Thank you so much.